The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
My fault with no bacon butties.
Whose fault is it?
No, I don't want no difficult questions just because there's no bacon butties.
Does this mean we get something better next time?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sam, first of all, good news yesterday with 3 new contracts signed.
Yes, excellent. I think that the commitment of the players and the club, it's very good news for not the distant future, but the future as it is at the moment with the contribution these lads are making, like, you know, in the first team. So, you know, we've got a young side that's playing at the moment with those 3 lads in there. Jordan Pickford, Vlasic coming on as sub, you know, and all under 23. So it's obviously very good for the performances they put in front in the moment. Are very good for the future of Everton Football Club.
Obviously, Calvert-Lewin, Holgate and Kenny being in the side. When you first came in, have they surprised you with the quality that they've got? We got Tom Davis to that as well.
Well, I knew about Mason from last season with his contribution, but not so much about John Joe, of course, and certainly not Dom's. You know, it's not Dominic. So you know, but the need for those players because of injuries and you know, on the front line, we've probably only looking at Niassi and Dominic, and Sandro hasn't settled in that well according to the other staff at the club since I got here, that we would hope he would make an impact down the line somewhere. But he's holding that line very, very well at the moment, and giving us opportunities to create more and more attacks, and obviously he scored a few goals as well.
Can the youth system end up forming the core of a first team squad? Is the quality beneath these that's come through? Obviously we saw what the lads did over in Cyprus, that you've got the likes of Kieran Dowell out on loan at Nottingham Forest as well, doing well.
I think it can do. I think that obviously many years of good work in the academy at Everton, and of course like at senior level, the recruitment of the academy work is the basis of the success on the field. You know, if the scouts at the academy don't find the quality of player, it doesn't matter how good the coach and the coaching team and development team is at Everton, they can't get that player to the level of playing for Everton Football Club in the first team. And often a lot of academies at this level face the fact that they do actually develop a lot of players, but unfortunately they go to other clubs a little bit lower down and they're not quite got the quality. So scouting youngsters, which is just as difficult as scouting senior players, is the main aim to start with, that the player's got the potential, that he can be a Premier League player at Everton, and Everton's then development system takes them all the way through to the first team.
Just thinking then, how do you envisage being able to use some of these lads coming through?
I think there's a blockage in the system that everybody knows about, that we have to somewhere along the line. I think that us as a nation have to resolve, and it's very difficult to resolve it, because the block is that around 17, if they don't get first team football at that age, then that development stops, and when that development stops, then the players don't realise the potential and don't realise the level of football. So we do have a system that needs addressing in that area between 17 and 21, where players have ready to gain experience in somebody's first team, but we can't get enough first team football for them. And I think that is very important, because it's hugely difficult at 17, 18 and 19 to break into a Premier League team, as you'll see across the whole of the Premier League. And I think probably Everton are probably better with the players they've got in the team, or more players in the team, than anybody else in the Premier League at that age. I don't know how close Man City are running. They've got quite a few young highly talented players under 23, but certainly we're doing very well in that department at the moment.
Are you expecting then that you're going to be able to utilise some of these lads coming through yourself?
I don't know yet. I think it's far too early for me to make any predictions on what or will might happen on anybody really at the moment, because I'm still finding out about the big squad that I have, about the players that I have on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, and I think that we really won't have or I would have a better view coming to the end of January when the window is finished. How will that affect the squad one way and the other? And then when the end of the window is finished, then we finish the games that we finished in that period of time, and then I'll have a better idea. It's I'm shooting in the dark a little bit sometimes when I'm talking at the moment.
Someone else to obviously come through the system, Ross Barkley. Again, there's that link that surfaced with Chelsea. Has there been any contact? Is there anything in that at all?
Not that I'm aware of at all. There's any link with Chelsea at the moment. I think that if and when that materialises to be the fact that there has been contact, then that discussion would happen between all the various people in the club, from the top down to me, to make the decision, or the right decision for Everton going forward.
What do you think will happen in January? Because Ronald Koeman always made the point that it made business sense to let Ross go for a fee.
If Ross isn't interested in staying at Everton, I don't know whether he is or he isn't at the moment, then that would be sensible to consider whatever offers there are in January. But at this moment we're speculating because there is no offer on the table to consider. At the moment Ross is recovering from an injury. I'm more interested in Ross Barkley being fit and available for Everton, as he is an Everton player at the moment, and see where we go from there, and deal with whatever comes in the January window, because obviously now is the hardest time of the year for managers and football clubs and players because of speculation. Speculation creates sometimes an uncertainty that the players read that they may be moving somewhere else, or the manager has decided that he's going to let him go, and then all of a sudden they're uncertain about their future, and really that is only speculation, but it puts doubt in their mind, and you have to try and reassure them that that's not the case. So January window is obviously a very difficult one, because we're in a very good frame of mind at the moment, and that could create some doubt with some of the players, and that's not really what you want, but what you have to deal with the best you can throughout January.
Have you had the conversation with Ross regarding his future? He's not given any indication as to whether
No, not yet. No, I'm extremely busy on the basis of the players who are available to play need to be coached and need to be given the opportunity to play the next game and pick the next team to play in the next game. I think we've already played 29 games this year, and it shows the demand week in and week out on the players has been massive at Everton for the fact that they've had to qualify for Europe right the way in January. So 29 competitive games already means that the players have been through a lot of ups and downs. A lot of new players have arrived who perhaps haven't made the impact that we would have liked, or the club would have liked, and we've got to manage all of that to make everybody better and try and improve our results and improve player performances.
That said, have the ambitions changed pretty quickly? You came into what looked to be a relegation fight, and are you now looking upwards towards the European position?
And that credit goes to the players who've achieved so much in a short period of time. I think that 10 points in 4 games, 10 out of 12 points, is a miraculous recovery from them, and along with the fact that I've talked about the injuries and so on and so forth. It's put the club in a pretty stable position very quickly that allows me to think a little bigger than perhaps when I first come in. Think a little bit more about sustaining our position in the top half, about improving the players because the confidence is greater, and taking each game as it comes and trying to continue to get as many results as we can.
Obviously Wayne Rooney has been a big part of it as well. We've spoken about him before, but is he fast becoming the signing of the season, given his goal return for a start?
Well, I think that is what we all wanted. I think what all the Everton fans wanted, what Wayne wanted, being an Evertonian, that he would come and show his worth. And I think that I think he's got a goal of the month this season as well, and his contribution in goal terms has been invaluable to us, certainly since I've been here recently, getting to where we are. I don't think we're over blessed with goal scorers, so all of us chipping in together, and certainly Wayne in the position he's in at the moment is our main threat in terms of scoring goals against the opposition, and long may that continue. What
are you doing with him, especially to get the best out of him?
I don't know that I'm doing that much with him about just about my management style with everybody, really. I think that I told you that it's about simplifying your game when you've got when you're lacking a little bit of confidence. I think that and then that grows, the confidence grows, and then you can achieve more on the field. And I think that the basis comes from we all look like we're defensively sound now, and now it's expanding on that now. We have to be more expansive, we have to get better on the ball, and not lose that defensive solidarity, but also be more creative and better and more accomplished, because the games down the line we'll be able to have to break down teams, or we'll have to play against the big boys and try and get another result.
Between now and the end of January, we'll probably ask you every week as to how you're going to supplement this squad in the transfer window. Have you had that conversation with Farhad?
The squad is 32 players, and that squad is big, it's massive, and that means that there's only 25 players can be registered. So there's an addressing issue in that department. But within that 32 players, there's a huge amount or a considerable amount of very young talent that we will have to sit down and make a decision on in the next few weeks going into January. Whether is it like I said before, would it be an opportunity to let them have first team football and loan them, or are they valuable to the first team squad and will actually play a part in it? And we make that decision when it's January. It comes on a week to week basis, because you don't know what's going to happen until there's other actions from other football clubs outside of Everton.
And in terms of the actual recruitment of players, how's it going to work between yourself, Steve Walsh, the major shareholder?
Pretty well, I would think. I think that there's a huge amount of data that's already gathered, that's already collected in all areas of the player's availability, what he is, what he does, what type of player is he, and then of course there's is he available, what price is he available for, what length of contract, does he want to come, doesn't he want to come? And I think that process is already in place, and that process with Steve, who's the director of football, and then communicating with the owners will be very clear and precise, and a decision will be made, and whatever that decision will be made, we will move on with it, one way or the other, and that's pretty simple.
I suppose as well we're also asking, is the final decision with you, is it a case that you say...
It's collective, the final decision. I think the final decision becomes a collective issue of, can we tick all the boxes, and are we all agreed we will try and go down this route and down this line.
And do you say to Steve, I need strength here, there, and he comes up with a list of players and you go,
I think the answer to that is probably yes. I think that, but then again, in my experience, the window becomes, while very, very difficult, becomes very, very interesting, because these players here that we focus on, then all of a sudden one pops up from another area that you never expected, that you never thought or might be actually available, and then all of a sudden you look at and do your research on that player, what you've got in your database and what you do, and then say, well, we didn't expect that player to come along, and that player would be very interesting for us.
How enjoyable the situation you find in this now, Sam?
Oh, sorry?
Enjoyable.
Well, I only come back into football to enjoy myself, and that is the only reason that that I've been in this game so long, because it's a very enjoyable industry to work in, and in fact, as I'll say again, I'll just mention that word that I've never done. I've never worked in since I left school, so I'm very privileged to do this job. And while there's lots of pressures with it, I accept those pressures, but it doesn't stop me enjoying it. It doesn't stop me enjoy working with the players, working with this facility as well now, and working with the people that look like they're all on board, trying to go the right way. It's had a difficult spell, and hopefully we can continue to get through this difficult spell. The lads have done magnificent by getting 10 points out of 12, and it's given us a little bit of breathing space, but not stopped us being as ambitious as we possibly can.
Back home after a couple of away games, what are you expecting from Swansea at Goodison?
Well, I'm not expecting any complacency. Is my big word to the players, that this will not be an easy task. This will be a difficult task as always. And don't slip up, against a side that everybody expects you to beat, and you will only get the opportunity to beat them if you play 100% to your level, which is what we've had to do, certainly in the last 4 games that we've played.
Are you surprised where Swansea are in the table, Sam?
I think that Paul did an unbelievable job at Swansea when he came from Bayern Munich last year, and he was so disappointed that he hasn't been able to take that on from there. But there was, like everything, there's a change around in players, and with the goals not being as often as Llorente scored, I think the impact Llorente had with Paul was one of the main reasons that they stayed in the league. And he sorted, obviously, conceding goals. They didn't concede as many, and they ended up staying up. I don't think those goals have probably been his problem now, where they haven't got enough goals or as many goals as Llorente scored, and hence he's not picked up as many points as he was like. And in his team, as Everton found, are suffering from a lack of confidence. But dangerous opposition for me. We were expected to beat Swansea when I was at Crystal Palace, and they beat us 2-1 when Paul got there last year. So I'm well aware of the dangers that if you switch off and you become complacent because you think you're going to just go out there and win, you'll get a big shock in this league.
Sigurdsson a big difference, obviously, as well. How important has he been for you? What have you found with him?
I think that his difficulty was the settling-in period and the late arrival that came about Gylfi arriving here, and that was then a catch-up in fitness, and his pre-season hadn't been very good, I'm told, and then he has to come in and play catch-up, and then that doesn't deliver the sort of performance we all know he can, and you have to be patient that way. And obviously he seems like he's getting to the top end of his match fitness now, and of course his abilities in the final third are what we're looking to get him to show and prove more and more as time goes on, and that will all be about the team creating more opportunities and being more forward thinking in terms of opening up the opposition and possession, getting better and better to create those opportunities for anybody on the front line to try and score.
Just finally, as far as injuries, team news, how's it looking?
No injuries from the other night, and I think that we've got Yannick Bolasie training, and I think would probably play some part in a game tonight, I believe, under 23. So I think that we would see what happens for that, and we may, depending on the whole team here, have a discussion on whether that makes him available for selection on Monday night against Swansea.
Okay, guys. Sorry, one more.
McCarthy, Baines?
Not yet. Not yet.
And all the others still? No.
All the others still in the same position, not involved in day-to-day training just yet.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.